Hi, welcome back. In this episode, we'll be talking about basic rules and movement. At the beginning of the game, you'll be asked to place your armor and artillery pieces on the board. I'll talk more about their capabilities later, but for right now, I'll just click on one each and place it wherever I see a flashing square. I'll do the same for the red army, since I'm playing myself. Okay, looks like blue player is going first, and now I'll talk about the configuration of your army. Each player has 6 pieces. 2 of these pieces, your armor and artillery, are heavy weapon units. Whenever these pieces are on their base, these squares which kind of stick out from the perimeter, you can click on that piece and swap between armor and artillery and back to armor. You also have 4 infantry pieces. These are the pieces that have been labeled with Roman numerals 1, 2, 3, and 4. At the beginning of the game, each of these pieces are assigned a different size unit. It's completely random which piece is assigned to what unit, so this is part of your strategy. For example, your opponent does not know where your battalion is, but you, however, know that your number 4 piece is your battalion. As far as scoring goes, your brigade is the largest size unit, and it scores the fewest points. Your platoon, the smallest, but it scores the most points. You score points by moving your infantry piece to the objective in the center of the board. Once you do that, you score however many points that piece is worth. Once you reach 40 points, or however many points you're playing to, you win the game. 2 side notes. 1, your assignment will always be visible in the online version of the game. This little button won't exist. And also, whenever the combined score of both players reaches 30, 60, 90, etc., your unit assignments change. For example, if Captain Ron had 16 points and then I reached 14 points right here, that would mean you should probably take a look at your assignment, because your number 1 piece may no longer be your platoon. It may now be your brigade or something. So this is going to disrupt your strategy, but it's also going to disrupt the strategy of your opponent. So watch out for that later in the game. As far as turns and movements go, each turn consists of 3 moves. A very typical way to start off a game would be to move 3 pieces, each piece 1 time. You can move an individual piece up to 1 time, or rather 2 times in a turn. So if I try moving this guy a 3rd time, I can't. The help box kindly reminds me. And so I'll click cancel, and I'll go ahead and move another piece instead. You actually only have to move an individual piece 1 time in a turn. So you can actually click on a piece once, and then I just move that guy. I think I'll just end my turn. There we go. As far as these little airstrips right here, they're kind of cool. You can move on to these airstrips, and now I can move that piece to any other airstrip. So I'll go ahead and I'll move him over here. Okay. Next up, I'm going to show you how when a piece moves onto this avenue approach right here, avenue approach being these columns which lead to the center, if I try clicking on this piece and moving him again, I can't. I am unable to move a piece on the avenue approach more than once in a turn. Help box reminds me of that. I'll cancel that move, and I'll move this guy instead. Now you'll notice I clicked on this guy. Normally I could bound over pieces on the board, but you cannot bound over a piece that's in the avenue approach. The whole point of this is to kind of slow you down in the avenue as you start approaching the objective. So I'll just go ahead and move this guy instead. Next up, watch as I'll cancel that move right there. I'm going to click on this piece right here. The only piece that you cannot bound over in the game is an enemy weapon unit. So you see that this red armor piece cannot bound over this guy right here because that's a weapon unit. So I'll go ahead and I'll move him somewhere else. And now you'll notice that I just got a warning in the help box that says I have to move this guy off the airstrip. I can either move him to another airstrip, or I can move him off the off the airstrips altogether, but a piece can only stay in the same airstrip for one complete turn. So I'll do that, and there you go. That's basic rules and movement.